Okay, what we got here, we're gonna do a battery swap with a battery we picked up off Amazon, specifically for this bike because it's the same overall size. When you do these, you do need to take a look at the size. Hopefully the advertisement will list the size of your battery. It is sometimes really important, the height. On this bike it was because how low the seat goes. Many of these 26-inch bike batteries are the same, but they won't fit because they're too tall. So from what I've seen, most of what they offer is around 400 millimeters or 40 centimeters, or what is it, about 15 inches tall. The height is the main thing. I have not seen a whole lot of difference in these plates. Okay, the main problem we run into with a lot of these is that our connections from the original battery or whatever battery you were using will never match. Nobody seems to build anything the same. And you'll notice the problem we have here is we've got positive here, negative here. Well, the battery goes this way. Okay, so the negative's on your left, but this old battery connector has the positive on the left. Okay, the solution, of course, is they do send their own connector and their own base plate that you put down, right? And this type only goes together one way, and it'll end up sitting in there like this, which puts your negative on your left, your positive on the right. Now, on this bike, there's a real short way to fix this without having to splice connectors or do anything with this wiring. All we have to do is, once you pull this cover off, you're gonna take the 6 screws out, the 2 here, the 4 here. All right, just to get this out of your way for a bit. You're gonna take this top cover off. It'll slip out by itself, right? Now it orients with this towards the seat post, okay? And then we're gonna basically fudge this a little bit. We're gonna cheat. Unplug the battery connector and pull the whole thing up here. And what we want to do is, you can see on this one, you can't tell which one's positive and negative unless you own these leads, right? But I already know from doing it that this one was backwards. I may have already flipped it, but it's really simple. You just take this and turn it the other way, okay? And so now your positive and negative leads are flipped, and your battery will just drop in and work on all the original connections. The only thing that will be wrong is this plate will be labeled wrong. You could come in here with a Sharpie maybe, or you could just scratch those off, probably, if you really, if it really matters to you that that's correct. I'll probably do something to make it obvious that this has been swapped. I also need to check, because I may have already swapped this and now I may have it backwards, because I was testing to see that it would work either direction. I need my positive on the left, and right here, yes, okay, right now I have my positive on the left. I would say be careful when you do it once, unless you've got an ohm meter to verify. So once you've taken that out and flipped it, don't mess with it again. Put it back together quickly, and I'll show you. I'll throw a screw in just so that it doesn't slip around. And actually, you know what? We'll just plug it into the battery, because it'll be a lot easier for me to show this to you without having to fool with this basket on this bike. So that bit there is on the back. That's where that metal rod slides in. And the round seat post is up here. If I can get this to connect like so. I may have to take that plate off. There we go, okay. Let's make sure our battery is on. Yeah, the battery's on. It's just got a tiny bit of juice. And I've got controller power. Lift it up and spin the wheel. See that? Okay. So that's the simplest way to do it, is you just flip this lead backwards. Okay. Now, if you don't like that, the other thing we're gonna do is to completely remove this, and we'll use the one they gave us. Before I do that, I want to make sure it actually will fit in that space. So I know that it's going to end up sitting like this, and I want to make sure it lines up with those screws so I can use this plate. I really prefer to use their plate just because their battery has divots for those tall plastic legs to sit in, whereas this one doesn't. So it's just a little stronger. Okay, so we know that works. beveled screws should go to this plate. When you put this back together, you're not going to tighten everything down until you get the whole thing in, because this, you need to get this lined up as close as possible. And it's probably a good idea to put a little bit of blue Loctite on those two, which I will do when I'm done, because I need to keep going. Now, you could take that connector and you could solder a new one of these on. What I'm going to do, because I don't have any of these available, is I'm just going to snip this and use butt connectors to put these back together, because this is only about a 15 amp bike controller, and a mechanical connection is plenty for 15 amp. If this was something with 40 or 50 amps, you definitely want to use more than just a mechanical connection. I need to fix that too. Put some tape on those. So snug those up. Make sure this is snug. And the reason I did it like that was because you don't want to get a bind. It'll break that plastic, or you'll have trouble getting the battery to go back in. These screws just need to be probably about, 8 to 10 foot-pounds. That's why I would prefer to use some of that blue Loctite on them so that they don't work loose. This one's got enough corrosion in the threads that it'll probably never come off again. I don't want to tighten them super tight and smash that plastic. Is that the wrong one? That's the wrong one. Dang it. That's a round one. I don't really want a round one here. It might bump into the battery case. Okay. And I've got this guy, so I'm just going to snip him off. Use these. Give myself enough to put some fresh crimps on there. I think this is probably going to be these larger ones. Yeah. And I've got the type of connectors that shrink, so you can keep this watertight as much as possible. Oh wait, I brought the better one. Is this the one? Is this one gonna work? I don't think this one's big enough for these. Maybe it is. Let me see. It'll be too small. Yeah. Yeah, that one's too small. That made a really good connection. All right. Fix this. We just keep our same polarity because it's we're not switched. We were only switched at the plate, not at the connections. So keep your black and reds together the way they were. And you probably could cut some of this off. There's way more in there than there needs to be, which isn't necessarily good. Okay, let's go ahead and reconnect. We'll drop the battery in so that we can make sure. Now this guy's got this basket in here that makes this a real nightmare for me. Come on, buddy. There we go. All right. Drops in real good though. And there it is, it's on. We got power. Okay. And we're back in business, and that's it. That's both ways to do it. So you can pick which way you want to do it. This definitely has a better look and is cleaner, but you do have to do the extra steps of wiring it. The other way is just fast. So, pick which one works better for you. And that's all there is to this. We just got to put this back together. I got to pull it back out and put some Loctite. You can use it or not. It's up to you. I really do recommend it because these screws have a bad habit of walking out and causing the battery to get jammed in there, and that's a real nightmare later on. They also have a bad habit of corroding, and so then they're also really hard to get out. That's all we've got here.